Councillor Andrew Davenport, Mayor of Whitehorse, and I welcome you all to tonight's special committee meeting. I formally open this special committee meeting and ask that you all stand for the opening prayer and statement. We give thanks, O God, for the men and women of the past whose generous devotion to the common good has been the making of our city. Grant that our own generations may build worthily on the foundations they have laid. Direct our minds that all we plan and determine is for the well-being of our city. Amen. In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge the Wurundjeri as the traditional custodians of the land we are meeting on. We pay our respects to their elders, past and present. Please be seated. Councillors and members of the public, please note that our meetings are now audio recorded and uploaded to our council's website with the purpose of providing greater access to council debate and decision making and encouraging openness and transparency. Please note that any statements made by individual persons during a meeting are not the opinions or statements of Whitehorse City Council, and therefore Council accepts no responsibility. I would now like to introduce our councillors and senior officers this evening. Councillors on my left, Councillor Bill Bennett.
Good evening everyone and welcome.
Councillor Blair Barker.
Hi everyone, thanks for coming.
Councillor Tina Liu.
Good evening everyone, welcome.
Councillor Sharon Ellis.
Good evening everyone and welcome.
Councillors on my right, Councillor Prue Cutts.
Good evening everyone and welcome.
Councillor Ben Stennett.
Good evening everyone, welcome.
Councillor Denise Massoud.
Good evening and welcome.
Councillor Andrew Munro.
Good evening, all welcome.
Staff on my left, Chief Executive Officer, Miss Nolene Duff.
Good evening.
General Manager Infrastructure, Mr Nigel Brown.
Good evening.
General Manager Corporate Services, Mr Peter Smith.
Good evening.
Staff on my right, Executive Manager Governance and Customer Service, Mr Tony DeFazio.
Good evening, everyone.
Governance Officer, Miss Patricia Moore.
Good evening.
General Manager City Development, Mr Jeff Green.
Good evening.
Acting General Manager Human Services, Miss Debbie Snedden.
Good evening.
And in the gallery, Manager of Communications, Miss Sally Freud. Now move to item number 2 of the agenda. Councillors, I note that Councillor Carr has already sought and been granted leave of absence for tonight's special committee. Councillor Ellis has sought leave for an absence for the Special Committee of Council meeting being held on 10th of September 2018, and I seek a motion that the apology of Councillor Ellis be received and accepted.
Happy to move, Mayor.
Councillor Massoud
Happy to
moved.
second.
Councillor Cutts seconded. I'll put the motion to the vote. Those in favour? Against? Carried unanimously. I'll now move to item number 3, disclosure of conflicts of interest. Councillors and officers, are there any disclosures of conflicts of interest in regards to matters to be considered on tonight's agenda? If so, I will require councillors and officers to disclose that interest and nature of that interest. There being none, item number 4, confirmation of minutes. Councillors, we have listed on the agenda the minutes of the previous meeting held on 9th of July 2018 requiring confirmation by the committee. Can I have a motion to confirm those minutes, please?
So moved.
Councillor Bennett moves, seconder.
Haven't you second?
Councillor Ellis seconded. Is there any discussion? I'll put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Carried unanimously. Item number 5 on the agenda.
Mayor?
Councillor Barker.
Mayor, I noticed in the chamber there are 2 sort of turret-like or new turret-like looking optical devices in the chamber, and I was wondering if you could tell us what they are.
I'll ask the CEO to answer the question, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Council resolved and committed budget resources to web stream.
Yes.
Very exciting change to our processes. And they're the cameras installed tonight. We're not web streaming. They're only finalised installation, I think, just on a week ago, and we're testing the system currently. So we'll certainly alert all councillors and community members in the gallery once those cameras become live.
Sounds like very exciting.
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks, Chief.
Very exciting development. I'll have to comb my hair in future. Let's go to the next item on the agenda, public submissions. The special committee provides the opportunity for anyone who has registered with the council administration in accordance with the printed guidelines attached to the special committee agenda to make a presentation before the special committee. Speakers will be given a maximum time of up to 3 minutes for their presentation, with a reminder at 30 seconds. It sounds like this. And there will be no opportunity for interjection or debate on the issue. I will now invite Mr. Peter Chandler of Box Hill, who is registered to speak on builders and illegal parking in Whitehorse. And Mr. Chandler, if you could please press the green button. Thank you.
Very good. It is with the parking and compliance. It's just a follow-up to the article in the Leader last week regarding a large building in Dorking Road backing on to Cloder Avenue, right next door to Cloder Cottage, which I am a member of the Board of Management there. We've been working really hard over the last few years to try and increase the services there, and we're doing a really good job. We have a vibrant little childcare centre there, but since the building of the aged care facility in the last 12 months, business has really dropped off. Every Board of Management meeting we have, it's always about dropping this program, reducing the childcare services because nobody can get in. The road is just blocked. They've been using our car park, as you've been reading in the paper. And we've been talking to council and our representatives within here in the service department. Nothing seemed to happen. So to the point where last year we had a small surplus of $10,000. This year we'll have a deficit of $20,000, all because of the building works, the trucks, the builders that's been happening. Just prior to the building commencing, we got in contact with Buxton, the builders of the facility. Tried to work with them to let them know what we are. Introduced ourselves. If there was any problems we could help them with, and vice versa. Get a communication. That stopped after about 6 months, and they wouldn't talk to us. Council also around the area put up 2-hour parking limits on a lot of the roads, and which helped a lot for all the builders coming in and the trucks and whatnot. But it was just a whole when they're delivering items and the like. Also, a few years ago last year, 2016-17, there was a development next door to my home. Just a four unit development, which is very common around Box Hill. They started to, is that 30 seconds to go? Wow. Sorry. They started to start early. I started notating times, tried to talk to them about noise. They started at 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning sometimes. So I wrote a stat deck, brought it into council. Nothing appeared to happen. And it's all around the area. People are really annoyed. We know there's development, but when...
Time's
I'll
expired.
move that, Mayor. I'll move that the speaker be allowed to continue for a minute.
I hear a motion that there's a suspension of standing orders to allow Mr. Chandler to continue speaking for another minute.
Happy to second.
And Councillor Stennett has seconded that motion. Is there any speakers against or for? I'm going to put that motion to the vote. Those in favour? Against? Carried unanimously. Please continue.
Thank you.
Mr. Chandler.
So residents of Box Hill understand there's lots of development, but it's about neighbourhood amenity. You can't go for a walk without having to walk around on the road to get around trucks that are blocking driveways. Things being delivered and dropped across the nature strip so you can't walk. So if compliance and we drove around and looked and just spoke to builders, start the dialogue with builders about keeping footpaths and amenity clear, as well as, and it's just all about, so at the moment we've got a problem with the tyres being dropped and littered. Obviously you guys know all about that. It's all about trying to find these people and deal with it. People are really annoyed with people just doing things as they wish. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Chandler. I now seek a mover of a motion to resume standing orders.
So moved, Mayor.
So moved by Councillor Barker, seconded Councillor Ellis. Those in favour? Against? Carried unanimously. I'll now move on. That was our only registered speaker this evening, and I thank you, Mr Chandler, for your submission this evening. We'll now move on to item number 6, report from officers. There are none. We'll now move on to item number 7, other business. Councillors, in accordance with our council procedure in regards to raising matters of other business, are there any proposed written motions for consideration? Being none, I'll move to item number 8. The special committee allows for the opportunity for members of the gallery to make comment only if there's items in officer reports item 6 or councillors' items raised under item number 7. As there have been no topics raised in either item 6 or 7, there's no ability for public comment tonight. Move on to item number 7, confidential reports. There are none. So now move to item number 8, close of meeting. In closing the meeting, I thank you all for your attendance and contribution, and have a great evening. Thank you very much.